You can set everything up, but just mute them. Good evening once again. We are just waiting for one more council member. Thank you for waiting, everyone.
Good evening, gentlemen. Can you hear me? I'm just wanting to test this out.
Yep, we hear you, Moses.
Excellent, thank you.
Oh,
Yeah, and I didn't get a chance to put it in the packet, and I added it on the virtual packet, but that's comparison to last year's water usage and allocation to this year,
mhm.
which we've actually only used about 100 acre feet more compared to last year at this point.
Mhm.
Um, but even then, it shows that last year with the full allocation and selling water to
2,400.
to Westlands, we still use about 2,400, so we were still allocated 100 less. So we'll get more into it right now. I just wanted to be able to show that.
Hello.
Hello. All right, can everybody hear us in virtual space?
Yes,
Perfect. All right, Mayor, go ahead.
Yes, so we're gonna call the meeting to order, and for the record, it is 5:14. Angie, would you please do roll call?
Councilmember Carrizales. Mayor Pro Tem Ramirez.
Here.
Mayor Feliciano.
Here.
And Mr. Hernandez is absent.
Mhm.
Okay, we have Councilmember Hernandez attending a community meeting.
Yes.
So
The
that's why,
Parks Propositions Parks meeting.
That's why he's absent. But with that, we'll continue. Would you please read the statement?
Government Code Section 54952.3, the members of the City Council's successor agency are entitled to receive a total of 300 per month because of being elected to the City Council. They receive no other compensation for sitting in the city as a member of the successor agency.
Okay, so I would like to welcome everyone that is present attending our city council meeting. And at this time, we will go to item number 3, which is public comment. So,
Any person may directly address the City Council agency at this time of any items on the agenda or the items of interest of the public within matter jurisdiction. The City Council successor agency state law prohibits any member of the City Council agency from commenting or acting on matters not in the agenda. 3 minutes are allowed per person.
thank you. Are there any public comments at this time?
Hi, good evening, Mayor and fellow council members. This is Veronica Aguirre. I just wanted to make a couple comments tonight. First of all, congratulations to Mayor Pro Tem Alex Ramirez for his reelection. And also, I'd like to mention that I noticed, well, I don't see that the chief is on, but I wanted to make a comment in regards to the great work that Avenal PD has done with the recent incident or occurrence that happened that I seen on Facebook with the Operation Trick or Treat and those guys that they had caught that were trying to lure young children. I just want to commend Chief Stivers and the rest of Avenal PD for continuing to work hard and protecting our community. This has actually hit very close because I actually have teenage daughters, and through this time that the kids are home and they're using a lot more social media and stuff. It kind of like was a great reality check because this is something that you never would expect to happen in a small little rural community like this. Something off of like the Lifetime Network. So I'm really happy that we have them on our side. Lastly, I'd like to mention the concern of the open face on the berm at the landfill. When I left Avenal a little while ago, it was already almost 5 p.m. and the garbage that they're using to continue to build that berm, it was exposed. And from my understanding, based off the contract, it states that they are not allowed to leave garbage exposed at the end of their day. And based off their website, which I also verified before I started with the meeting, it says that they stop at 3 p.m. So if that isn't correct, then I believe that they should correct that. Otherwise, they should have had that covered after 3 p.m. It continues to be exposed and it continues to be a nuisance to the community as well as public safety. So those are my only things that I'd like to mention. And I do hope that this does become an agenda item sometime soon so that it gives us the opportunity to really address the issue and all the inconsistencies that are within the contract and the connection with the community and how it does continue to become a nuisance to many people, especially that live right by it. So thank you and have a good night.
Mayor, if I may, thank you, Veronica, for those comments, and I will definitely pass on your comments regarding our PD's great work. Just to clarify, and I was just informed earlier this week that open berm, this will probably be the week that it's most exposed. So this, according to George Anderson, the landfill manager, and he's hoping it's only for 1 week, and they have installed misters to kind of mitigate the smell. So just to clarify on that, and obviously
Thank you, Anthony. Also, when they install the misters, I would actually ask what type of water are they using to mitigate, and if it's not the leachate. Because what we found out is for their odor control, or actually the dust control, they're actually using that nasty toxic water that comes out of the ground and all that through the garbage, and it's filling up those ponding basins, and that's what they're using as dust control. And that can also get into our groundwater, and it can be toxic. So that's another thing. When they say misters, we actually have to remember what is possibly being exposed into the atmosphere and into everybody's lungs. But thank you. I appreciate you finding that out.
absolutely. And just so you know, we do take these comments seriously, and we do hope to be able to address them. So
Yes.
just Just so you know, thank you, Veronica.
Thank you, Anthony.
Thanks for your comments, Veronica. Are there any other public comments? I believe not. So we'll close public comments. We'll go over to item number 4, which is new business. And 4A will be to consider consulting agreement with Esther O. Strong for limited direction support services to the finance department. So we're gonna have a discussion.
I'll deliver my staff report. I will keep it brief. So as council is aware, our former Director of Administrative Services, Don Perkins, tendered resignation effective this Tuesday. This vacancy in the top management position is obviously something that should be left open for too long. The city has a few options. We could either promote from within the finance and utility departments, post the vacancy and then recruit for the position, or possibly hire out a consultant who could assist us in the meantime. Understanding a lot of the transitions and changes going on here at City Hall, staff recommends that we would hire out a consultant who could assist us. And in speaking to the former city manager and other staff people, a name that came up frequently was Esther Strong, someone I believe Mayor Preciado probably remembers. Esther worked with the city for well over, I believe, 25 years. She's well versed with how the city runs. She retired about 5-6 years ago, so she's not too out of the loop of how things operate, and she's familiar with all the staff already. So just in a nutshell, we're recommending that council consider and approve a professional services agreement to hire Esther Strong for a period of approximately 9 months to help our staff with the finance day-to-day, helping with our audits, and also at the same time train our staff with the hopes of them being able to take on more greater capacity and role in the coming months. And I believe Esther is on the line. And if Esther, if you don't mind just saying a few words.
Good afternoon. I've already met with some of the staff this week, and we're progressing. So I'm happy if to move forward with this project.
Well, Esther, this is Mayor Preciado. You probably remember me. I just very pleased that you're stepping and willing to help the city right now. And I'm really pleased to see somebody who's got knowledge and actually knows the finance department and stuff and have worked for the city. And actually did an incredible job keeping the budget in the black at all times. So I would like to welcome aboard if possible, but I really thank you for, offering your services as a consultant to the city of Avenal.
Well, thank you for your confidence in me. I greatly appreciate it.
And just to reiterate, as I said, Melissa, Esther comes strongly and well recommended. Melissa said, somebody we can trust, and built out these departments, the utility and finance, built out our financing system. And as we're looking to hopefully upgrade either to another system, Esther's probably the best person for the job to help us on that.
I do
So,
agree.
as you see before you, there is a resolution and a copy of the professional services agreement, which our city attorney helped draft up. Are there any questions?
Alex or Lulu, do you have any questions? Oh, Esther, if not, we need a motion to. Let's see. So by resolution, we need somebody to make a motion to authorize the mayor to sign the professional consultant services agreement with Esther O. Strong.
Go ahead and make the motion to approve resolution 2020-54.
There you go.
Thank you. We have a second.
I'll second.
That's second by Councilmember Carrizales.
Councilmember Carrizales,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Ramirez,
Aye.
Mayor Preciado.
Aye. So let it show that it passed 3-0, 1 absent. Thank you. Welcome on board, Esther.
This is awesome.
Thank you.
With that, we're going to 4B, which is to consider declaring local emergency due to anticipated water allocation shortage and adopting of Tier 3 water conservation rules. And Anthony, would you like to
Absolutely. Thank you, Mayor and City Council. This is a topic all too familiar for the city. This is my first rodeo with dealing with water issues, and already I've been working with the mayor, consulting and working with our elected officials about our anticipated water allocation shortage. I'm just gonna read a little bit from the staff report because I do think it's important. As the drought conditions exist here in the state, many cities have been asked to restrict their water usage due to a decrease in rain and of course an increased need of water for our communities. City of Avenal, as you all are aware, has been metered since the 1930s. So our water conservation, as Melissa would say, is our way of life. And it's hit pretty hard in the last decade. And I think at this point, most of our community, if not all of our community, is well versed with water conservation. And, we see a lot of dryscaping throughout our neighborhoods. I spoke to Lupe Chavez, our code enforcement / water conservation officer, and he says compliance has been really good for the last few years. Sometimes he catches some water runoff, but most everyone is using a nozzle. They're, decreasing their water usage, their water, their watering days. The situation before us is that Avenal's water allocation year is from March to February. This year we were allocated roughly 2,273 acre foot of water. And as of September, which would be our latest water usage report, Avenal has used 1,647 acre foot of water, leaving us with about 626 for the remainder of these 5 months. I believe next week we'll have a report for October, and we'll kind of have a better idea how much is actually left. In terms of our water needs, our average consumption for this year seems to be about 206 acre feet. I provided the council a report that kind of shows what our water usage has been throughout this year compared to last year. I can pull that up right here for everyone to see. There you go. I know there's been some questions what has contributed to an increase of water usage, particularly from May on to September. I think there's quite a few factors to consider besides some water loss because of our water leaks. I think the consumption has gone up not just because of the growth in our community, but also because of COVID-19, where more people are back home. Those who were studying away in college came back. Grade school children are at home using water at home instead of maybe the water supplies from the school, which happens to be on well water. And people being at home caused them to work on projects. They're fixing up their yards, they're working on landscaping. So obviously there's been an increased usage, which has contributed to our anticipated shortfall. Some things to consider is that for the city, a full water allocation would be about 3,500 acre feet, which was supplied to us last year. This year instead, we got allocation of 2,273, which is 35% less than what would be a full allocation for us, meaning we would have to conserve over 35% of our water usage. And again, as our water rates have gone up, I don't believe there's anybody in our community who wants to willfully waste water. I think everyone does their best to conserve. As such, we have made a formal request to the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation, working with Melissa She has a great relationship with them. She's keeping me in the loop with those conversations. There's an attachment here of that conversation. Where we're requesting an additional 500 acre foot to get us through the water allocation year. That request has been recognized, and we're still waiting for a response, official response as to what they might be able to accommodate. In anticipation, in case worst case scenario, it is imperative for the council to um, ask the community to be more cognizant of our water shortage, hence moving us from, or currently we are in tier 2 of our water conservation, and instead moving us to tier 3. The difference there would be instead of basically it was 4 days of watering, we're limited to 2. Attached is also kind of what those tiers have been in the past and what the tier 3 would actually be. Let me show that to you right now. Yes. So what that tier 3 would mean is watering only on Mondays and Fridays for odd number addresses. And for even number would be Tuesdays and Saturdays, and no watering on Sundays, which currently are free days for watering. All this would be to hopefully help us get through the water allocation year with enough water, and hopefully show the U.S. Bureau of Reclamation that we are doing our due diligence, doing our best to conserve water, even though it seems that we have been using more water. There are just things that are outside of our control. I know one big question, something I wasn't able to fully get through, is what the water usage from the prison is. I do have those reports, but I wasn't able to kind of present them in a digestible format, so I will get those to you as soon as possible. And of course, our water leaks, what we've calculated with the Public Works Department, we've lost about 4 acre feet this year due to our water leaks. And as council might be aware, we had a water leak this past weekend. So, it's not uncommon. They'll probably continue happening until we finally get our new pipeline to at least reduce the strain on that aging 18-inch. But yes, what staff is recommending is to declare, proclaim a local emergency, and then review and consider adopting further measures and policies for this local emergency by moving us to tier 3 of our water conservation rules. That was a lot.
Yeah, I also,
Any questions or comments? I'm here to answer them.
well, I just would like to make a comment regarding the situation. This been going on for the last 15, 20 years, that actually that the city has been always trying to get more water allocations to our community. And we did have a very good meeting with local officials at the county level and the state level, and even at the congressional level. Since we have an agreement with USBR, which is considered the federal government, it was good to have a congressman representing our district there at the meeting, and with our assembly member, also in our county supervisor. We're actually not looking at just 1 year more water allocation. We're actually trying to look at a longer term so we can increase our water allocations every year, because of the state prison, that they were supposed to have their own water allocations after the first year. Somehow that never happened. And now with the city's allocation, we're supplying potable water to the state prison. So we're going to take those facts into consideration, and with the help of elected officials, hopefully they will revise. We'll probably get in a new agreement, a new contract, so we can get our water allocation increased from 3,500 hopefully to 4,500. And if that's the case, because we don't get the 100% water allocations unless there's been a very good wet year, a lot of rain, a lot of snow. So we need to have a comfort zone where we can still, even though we don't get 100% water allocation, we will still get enough acre feet of water to supply the demand. And actually, we also have to consider, as a city that needs to grow and population increases, we also need more water. And so those meetings will continue, and hopefully we'll get better results next time. And looking at working together with our city staff, county officials, statewide officials, and also with community. This is kind of a requirement because in order to get more water allocation from even the state can help through emergency situation like this one, but they will also look at if we're actually moving and conserving water, and one of the steps is to move to tier number 3, which we're doing tonight. So hopefully the community will understand our situation as a community, and also council will see that it's necessary to take the next step.
Absolutely. And if this passes, or staff is ready to include a message in the utility bill about tier 3, about the watering days. And looking through with Angie, last time we adopted tier 3 was back in 2015. I believe we didn't go back to tier 2 until about 2018, 2019, once we had a full water allocation. But we'll probably continue after this local emergency. If we get a better water allocation in a water year, we'll still continue probably in tier 2. We're always going to be in a water conservation mode,
Mhm.
unfortunately. And as the mayor alluded to, there has been growth in the city. We had new apartments from Arroyo del Camino with 52 or 51 new rooms, and of course the 120 subdivision on Current Street. So there's been growth and development here in the city, and obviously more demand, more needs, and we are a growing community. So hopefully those up above understand.
Yeah, we need to meet those demands, and hopefully we'll get there.
You know, this is something that I remember from Melissa that at the beginning of the year when we first had our water allocation, she said it's not enough. You know, so yeah, I think that this will help when the local emergency and
Any other comments? If not, we have a motion to,
There are 2 resolutions.
we got 2 resolutions.
Motion.
that's for resolution 2020
Five.
55 and 56.
Yes.
55 and 56.
55 and 56.
Yes. A
So one
motion.
declaring the local emergency and the other adopting.
Here,
Tier 2.
I will second.
So we have a first and a second. Angie, roll call, please.
Councilmember Carrizales,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Ramirez,
Aye.
Mayor Preciado,
Aye. So let it show that it passed, 3-0, 1 absent. Thank you. With that, we'll go into item 4C, which is to consider extending the agreement with Sotomayor and Associates LLP. So Anthony, would you take this?
Yes,
Action.
absolutely. My staff report. One second. Guess that got lost in translation. No worries. So, as the council is aware, we just adopted our 2018-2019 audit. The staff report not here, Angie? Oh, here it is, sorry. That's also with the resolution. Our existing audit provider is Sotomayor and Associates. They made us aware that we originally had signed on for a 3-year agreement with the possibility of a 2-year extension for services to do audits for fiscal years 2020 and 2021. We have been in contact with Sotomayor and Associates regarding the extension, and they are open to it. Mayor and staff had a meeting with Sotomayor and Associates to kind of get updated on our auditing situation, since we are a little behind for this past year's audit. One thing they did note is that there has been quite a number of changes with the council, with the city staff. So for this last year's audit will require some additional work. given that we are a little behind, it is in the city's best interest to continue contracting with Sotomayor and Associates for auditing services. And I know they're on the line, so if you, Elaine and Carmen, if you have a few words you'd like to say.
Good night, everybody. Yes, I'm Carmen Sotomayor. We had a conversation with the mayor and with city manager in Griselda, I believe, a couple of days ago. And yes, I mean, we made you aware that under the contract, we finalized our 3 years, but there were 2 extra years that we can take upon. And we are willing to do it and help the city in whatever they need in these changes. One thing that we did say is that we might need to extend a little bit procedures, but that's normal. That just happens when there's big changes. We are required to do that. It's not a big deal, but it's required under auditing standards. So other than that, we will help in whatever we can as far as consulting or questions that needed, because we work with city for 3 years, so we kind of know a little bit the system already. Other than that, whatever questions you have for us.
Well, thank you. We had a very productive meeting 2 days ago,
Yes.
and I really like the way you conducted the meeting. I would like to present you Mayor Pro Tem Alex Ramirez, sitting next to me, and Councilwoman Lulu Carrizales. We're looking forward to work together into next year's audit. And I really like the openness of your firm. I'm looking forward to continue working together for another 2 years, hopefully, if council so desires to approve today's resolution. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And just for added clarification, this will be something that Esther will be helping take lead on with Griselda.
Griselda. Yes. Yes, Griselda was there present at the meeting too, representing the finance department.
Yes.
Mhm. So are there any questions for Sotomayor's office from the rest of council? No. So if not, do we have a motion to enter into an agreement with Sotomayor for the next 2 years?
I'll
Extend
motion.
Extending.
the current agreement.
I'll motion.
We have a motion by Councilmember Carrizales. Do we have a second?
I will second.
A second by Mayor Pro Tem Ramirez. Angie, roll call, please.
Councilmember Carrizales,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Ramirez,
Aye.
Mayor Preciado.
Aye. So let it show that it passed 301 absent. Thank you, and looking forward to continue working with Sotomayor's office. Thank you very much for taking that time for being present at tonight's meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to continue a couple of more years with City of Avenal.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
With that, I believe we're going to closing correspondence, announcements. Do you have any?
No,
No?
not this
We're
time.
going to closing comments. Do we have any closing comments about city clerk?
Not at this time.
Do you have any closing comments from our Moses? How you doing, Moses?
Hi, pretty good. Hi, everyone. I don't have anything just other than I'll be working with the city manager on a few items, closed session coming up for the council meeting, and maybe some election related items.
Thank you. You'll be participating in the next city council on Zoom, or you'll be present? Okay.
I can be present if that's what the preference is. Today, because it was a short agenda, the city manager and I talked about it, and he said Zoom would be
Mhm. That's good. Thank
Yeah,
you.
I said it was for this one
Mhm.
since it would be quick.
Mhm. Thank you for your closing comments. Do we have any closing comments from Councilwoman Carrizales?
Not at this time.
About any closing comments by Mayor Pro Tem Ramirez?
Yeah, I would like to congratulate the Recreation Department for two events that they had recently. One was the trunk or treat, which I attended and was quite successful. I had a lot of very good turnout and a lot of people. I saw a lot of happy kids with costumes and seeing the parents, especially during this times of the pandemic when everybody's supposed to stay at home and seeing so many people being safe and same time enjoy it was great to see. And also for the Dia de Muertos, that's something that personally hit home, and that was great that the recreation department, you know, um, decided to do that, and I want to congratulate them for the great work that they did.
Pass that message along.
Yeah. Any closing comments by the city manager? Lopez?
Nothing pressing at this time. Be prepared for a lot of items at the next council meeting, especially since we'll only be having one for the month of November. Thank you for the nice meeting and the passing of the local emergency and tier three. Staff will get right to work on getting that message across to the community. And we'll also let USBR know that we've moved into tier three and taking this water shortage very seriously.
Mhm.
So I'm
Yes.
hoping we can have some good news soon, but
Mhm.
according to Melissa, it takes them a while to get back to us. So fingers crossed, everybody.
Yeah. Thank you, Anthony. And well, I would like to thank the community who participated or on Facebook or Zoom or the ones that are be watching the meeting later on. Uh, I just want to say that I also want to thank the whole staff at the city. Saturday, I got a call about the water leak, and probably the next hour they were already finding that there was a leak for sure, and they were able to find workers that show up and started digging and fixing the leak, and I believe it took them
Within
about 4 hours.
10 well, they started around 11.
Mhm.
You mayor informed staff at around 10:40. They confirmed it by after 11:30, about an hour later.
Mhm.
Took them about 6 7 hours to identify and fix the leak. Then the next day they tested it and seemed to be working fine. So we worked swiftly, and I mean that's a great partnership. Thankfully, the mayor and community is looking out for us as well. And I'll let you know, our staff is also. Ronald told me
Mhm.
that very same morning he's always scanning the hillsides, making sure there's no water leaks. And
Mhm.
I guess that one just popped up a little bit after.
Yeah. And that's the thing, sometimes water leaks may take 2 3 days to come up to the surface, and there'll be a leak in water unaccounted for, a lot of water that may get lost. So I would like to commend city staff for responding and fixing it quick, especially during these hard times where water allocations are running short. There was also another event at the Avenal High School parking lot, the vaccination clinic. I was there, and it was impressive to see how city staff had everything well organized. Nobody was had access to the parking area. There were people on every entrance watching. The line went all the way past the post office at times, and they were there after the time after 7 when it was supposed to be completed at 7. But there was a long, long night. But everything looked to work very, very well organized, and people participated, and it was very, very nice to see coordination, people being safe, a lot of volunteers, and a lot of city staff, and a lot of help from every department. So I just also would like to congratulate them on that. And Dia de los Muertos is a very nice altar outside. And also the trick or treat. I didn't go there, but I heard that, it is nice to see the community slowly, coming out of their homes, but at the same time taking the time to be safe, to consider the regulations, and kind of walking that line for distancing, wearing masks, and being safe. I think that's well appreciated, because we don't want to go back where we get more cases of people testing positive. So working together, I think we can work it out. And I also received a text from Samir from San Joaquin Valley Air District, Pollution Control District, trying to have another meeting with the LEA, which is the local
Enforcement agency.
enforcement, LEA enforcement agency. I believe the last three of their staff members kind of ranked top of their staff. So they're having difficulty filling those positions and trying to organize a meeting where they can also participate directly with our meetings that are having, where we're looking at addressing communities' concerns, community issues, and getting the facts so we can present it more clearly to our community. We received some information now that I will be distributing to our community members. I believe they're in English and Spanish.
Oh, yes, the box room.
The box.
Yes, there's about
A lot of
idling.
there's a lot of
Clean air and
information
idling.
that we're trying to provide to our community so we can show our transparency.
Yes.
Pardon me?
It's in the lobby.
It's in the
Yeah,
lobby.
We
In the
should have
lobby.
brought some coffee.
Yeah, I requested copies.
I know
but,
we need to get it to you.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
but yeah, we'll be sharing those with the community and anybody who may request them. And looking forward to our next meeting next Thursday. We only will have one meeting in November, one meeting in December because of the holidays. But we will have a special meeting if necessary, either in November, late November, or in December. But we'll be committed to have another meeting if necessary. If not, we'll have only one meeting in November and one meeting in December. But looking forward to continue to bring what is happening in the community to our community members. And I believe that will close our meeting for tonight. Are there any other comments? No? Well, thank you all and see you guys next week, hopefully. Thank you. Meeting adjourned.
Have a good evening.
Good evening, Moses. In Sotomayor's office.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Yeah.
See you.